I'm Bethany.
3 months ago, at a Christmas dinner in front of 15 relatives, my father, Henry, a strict and money-obsessed man, kicked me and my 6-year-old daughter, Ava, out. Ava was still holding her napkin, looking so innocent. My sister, Victoria, with a cold smile, said, "Leave and never come back." And my mother, Diana, a conniving woman, added, "Christmas is so much better without you." I didn't plead or cry. I just calmly said, "Then you won't mind me doing this." 5 minutes later, every single person who had just ejected us was on their knees, begging me to reverse what I'd done. Let me take you back 18 months. My husband, Ryan, died in a tragic car accident. I was parked outside Ava's school that fateful Tuesday at 3:47 p.m. When I got the call from the hospital. I don't remember how I got to the hospital or who picked up Ava. All I knew was that a doctor in blue scrubs told me my husband of 8 years was gone. At the funeral, my family showed up. But during the reception, I overheard Victoria whispering to Diana, "She can't raise Ava alone. Maybe we should find someone else to take the child." I was shocked and waited for Diana to defend me, but she just nodded and said, "We'll discuss it later. Let her grieve first." 3 months after the funeral, I received a $2.1 million insurance settlement. Ryan had taken out the policy when Ava was born. Before, I thought he was being overly cautious, but now it became a double-edged sword. Suddenly, Victoria started calling me frequently, feigning concern. Diana invited me and Ava to Sunday dinners every week, saying, "Family should stick together." Henry, who had been distant since my wedding, also wanted to catch up. At the fourth Sunday dinner, Henry cleared his throat and said, "Bethany, you should let Victoria manage your finances. She's good with money, and you're more of a creative type." I refused politely, saying I had an accountant and financial advisor set up by Ryan. After dinner, my 82-year-old grandmother, Florence, a shrewd and kind-hearted woman, pulled me aside. She pressed a folded paper into my hand and whispered, "Be careful with that money, dear. I don't trust them. Call the number on this paper." 6 months passed, and Victoria's calls became more insistent. She mentioned that Henry's furniture store was struggling and Diana had health issues. One day, Diana called, crying, saying Henry was about to lose the store and they might lose the house. I offered to lend them $40,000 interest-free, but Henry refused, saying he didn't need charity. Then Victoria proposed that I sign some papers for her to handle the investments. Remembering Ryan's words, "Never sign anything without reading twice and never give family control of your money," I said I needed to think. That night, I finally called the number Florence gave me. The next day, Ava came home crying. She told me that Diana had said she wished Ryan was still alive instead of me because Ryan knew how to take care of her. My heart broke. I also found out that Victoria had posted on the family group chat, saying I was gambling away the insurance money. I was furious. I met with the person on the paper, Lucas, a young lawyer in his late 20s who was a college friend of Ryan's. He showed me that Victoria had contacted the insurance company about transferring beneficiary rights and that Henry's store was on the verge of bankruptcy due to bad investments. He also told me that Florence wanted to change her will and asked him to be a witness. 1 week before Christmas, Victoria came to my house with a manila folder, asking me to sign papers for the family. I refused. She then threatened me, saying I'd be unwelcome at Christmas dinner if I didn't bring the signed papers. 3 days before Christmas, Henry called, demanding that I sign the papers at the Christmas dinner at Florence's house or be disowned. I still refused. On Christmas Eve, I went to Florence's house alone, leaving Ava with a neighbor. Florence gave me a sealed envelope and said, "Don't open it until dinner tomorrow." It's the truth and something they never expected. On Christmas morning, Lucas called and told me he had the full email chain of Victoria and Diana's scheme to take my money. He said he'd bring copies to the dinner. At 4:30 p.m. Ava and I arrived at Florence's house. The atmosphere seemed warm on the surface, but I knew there was a storm brewing. During dinner, Victoria stood up and announced that the family was concerned about how I was managing my money and asked me to sign the papers. I refused firmly. Henry got angry, shouting that I was ungrateful. Diana called me selfish. Victoria said I was incompetent. Ava started crying. Just when I was about to leave with Ava, Florence stopped me. I then called Lucas. When he arrived, he revealed the email chain, showing how Victoria and Diana had planned to manipulate me into signing away my money since 2 weeks after Ryan's death. Then, Lucas presented Florence's new will. Florence had left her large, valuable mansion to me. The room was in chaos. Victoria screamed, and Diana dropped to her knees, begging for forgiveness. I decided not to sue or take revenge. I just told them there would be boundaries from now on. I left with Ava and Florence. After that, many relatives called to apologize for believing Victoria's lies. Henry's store went bankrupt, and Victoria lost some clients. 2 weeks after Christmas, Florence asked if she could move in with us. Ava was overjoyed, and I welcomed her. Our small apartment started to feel like a real home. 3 months after Christmas, Diana called, crying and admitting her mistakes. She asked to hear Ava's voice. I told her I needed time and that I'd reach out when I was ready. I realized that family shouldn't be a reason to be hurt. I found peace and a real family in Ava and Florence, and I learned to stand up for myself and protect what's important.